Merging Lives is a thought-provoking powerhouse novel that treats reincarnation as a positive force of nature. Today, we're talking with the author Donna Pagano and Lucy Portlock, a certified hypnotherapist. Welcome to One-on-One with Cira Burke. It's so nice to have you here today.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Okay. All right. Let me tell you something, Donna. I got this book and I just can't seem to put it down. I don't know what inspired you, who inspired you, but I am so eager to have you here today and to talk about the book because really and truly, Merging Lives had a significant impact on mine. I just can't seem to put the book down.
I'd love to hear that. Thank you so much. That's a huge compliment.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Now, what inspired you to write the book?
I was given a session with a hypnotherapist on St. John about 20 years ago.
Okay.
As a birthday present.
Wow.
Never heard of it. And actually thought, and I thought it was kind of a weird birthday present, but the girl that gave it to me was zany and fun, and so I thought, what the hell, she had done it, and so I said, sure, she paid for it, so I did it.
Okay.
And on the ferry over there, I thought, you know, I'm just too hyper, I'm too wound up, I probably won't go out, you know, I'm probably not a good candidate for this, but I'll go for it, you know. And so I got there, and sure enough, I went out like right away.
Okay.
And it was really an amazing experience for me because you know, on TV they make it sound like hypnosis is like parlor tricks, you know, and you're like squawk like a chicken, you know, and that's not what happens.
Okay.
What happens is you pretty much, you're kind of like in that state of consciousness before you wake up, you know, like you're in a dream, but you know you have to pee. So you're kind of coming out of your dream and you're kind of coming awake, but you still want to hold on to the dream, you know, but you got to get up, you know.
Okay.
So in between those worlds, is where you are when you're hypnotized. So I was aware of horns honking outside. I was aware that I had an itch. I scratched it. I wasn't unconscious.
Okay.
But it's like the conscious mind goes way in the background and the subconscious mind comes forward.
Okay.
And the practitioner at the time said, well, you know, let's treat your life like a timeline, like a straight line. And to the left is your past. And to the right is the future. Okay. And where would you like to go? And I said, I'd like to go to the past. So I sat there and he didn't coach me a bunch. He just kind of let me see something. And I sat there and I thought, this isn't working. I'm a bad patient, you know? And then the next thing you know, it was like a Nickelodeon movie playing in my head.
Okay.
And I started to see a movie playing out. And I saw the scenario of the slave lifetime. Now, I took, of course, literary license to embellish it and make it more colorful in the book, but basically it is autobiographical from what I learned from my hypnosis sessions. So that's my inspiration. And then my friend, who was a hypnotherapist that gave me the gift for my birthday, she would tell me about amazing cases, certainly not mention any names, but just how fascinating it was. And so the topic started to be of interest to me.
Okay.
But I didn't write the book until many years later, probably 15 years later.
15 years later.
Yeah.
I want to hear from Lucy. Lucy, this art of hypnotherapy, explain to me just a little bit about what it entails, what is the process, and why is it that sometimes people are not as receptive, but yet others such as Donna and myself are always interested in finding out just a little bit more about the topic?
The people that say they can't be hypnotized are usually fearful. They want to be in control. They don't realize that they're not really ever out of control. Like she said, you know, she was doing everything, answering questions, scratching itch, you know. And I always tell people now when they come to me for a session that they will be able to do anything they want. If they want to terminate the session in the middle, they can. They can just say, I've had enough. I want out, you know, and and it's very much like that in between dreaming and waking. In fact, people go in and out of hypnosis all day long. If you are an avid reader and really enjoy a book and get into it, you notice how everything around you fades out and you are in the book. That's hypnosis. You're focusing all your attention on just one thing. You drive home and suddenly realize you're in your driveway and you don't remember that drive home. You did it by rote. You were in what we'll call an alpha state, which is actually very safe.
Right.
You would be more alert to danger in that state, in fact, than in your normal beta, you know, driving home. So it's actually a normal state, it's a little bit like meditation.
Meditation. I want us to go back to the book in terms of merging. I'm glad that you brought that up because I just couldn't, I found myself just merged into every single one of the characters, the female characters that you so very well depict in the book. Which one was your favorite? If you
The main character,
main
Palma,
character.
you know, and Mariah, and then she's Jigana as an Indian, but she's my favorite.
Let's describe them if you may.
Well, Palma, she's a very strong woman. She's very independent. She's very intuitive. And, you know, but she wants love too. She doesn't want to just be all by herself, you know. She wants to blend her life with people in her life and have a love relationship. But she is very strong.
Okay.
And while men are very attracted to her because of that quality, they're also very intimidated. So as soon as they enter into her life, they want to control her. And that's where she bristles.
I think I identified myself very well with her as well.
Yes, ma'am. So do I.
Now, there was a common factor within the three characters that were depicted in the book. Let's talk a little bit about that one, that underlying factor. I know that with one, the one that really touched my life was the slave girl. When she was making her transition from coming from Africa down to the Caribbean, and she was able to witness her child just being ripped away from her. That to me was just, I just started to shed tears. I'm like, I can't.
I cried and I wrote it.
Yeah.
But then it happens again. Let's talk about that.
Well, she does have 2 children that get taken from her, and which, you know, leaves it wide open for a sequel. There will be a sequel to Merging Lives, and it will be about her 2 children that get taken. So we're going to learn what happens to Zenibu and Ruby. So the next book will be about them. But yeah, it just ripped her guts out, of course. I mean, no mother can read that and not feel that,
Right.
you know. And it's just horrific because it drives home how god-awful that whole slavery issue was. It was just abominable. You know, that human life was so not valued, and that they could just jerk a child away from a mother and sell it like it was an item, like a piece of machinery or something.
I see that you often use the use of symbolism in your writing. Let's talk about that, specifically about the mark and the index finger.
Well, you know, with the written word, it's tricky. It's hard to keep the thread going. You know, in a movie, I do have aspirations for this to be a movie or some sort of visual project. And it will be easier for the viewer to get that this is the same girl all 3 times because it'll be the same actress. So it's a no-brainer that there she is again. Now she's got a different costume on, but it's still her. But in the written word, I had to be very clever to weave stuff in the story that would keep showing up so you would know that it was the same person. That's not the only reason I used it. I thought that the birthmark was sort of a power symbol.
A power symbol.
Yeah, the watch is a very power symbol. And these were, but they're very key ingredients for the thread to keep weaving through. To have those keep popping up in the different lifetimes keeps the thread going for the reader.
And I also see that in your element in terms of usage of foreshadowing. It just allows you just to follow through. You're almost like, okay, I'm almost certain that this is going to happen next. And I love that element of writing of yours. So,
well, thank you.
Which one would you say you developed first? Did you develop the storyline or would you develop the characters first? How do you as a writer make that distinction?
The storyline.
Okay.
The storyline came first, and then the characters pop up as the story develops. And I'd never written before. I'd owned newspapers and magazines, and I've been in publishing for a long time, but I hired writers. I paid other writers. I write editorials in the newspaper. I've written little stories for my newspaper, but it was more in a journalistic sense. So I'd never really written except for in my journals. I always kept a journal, even as a little girl. So I'd never done it before, and it was interesting to write a whole book. I didn't even know how to begin. And real writers would say, "Oh, did you have a, index card thing and a, storyboard?" It's like, what's that? I didn't know that's how you're supposed to do it. So I just kind of winged it and just started writing.
All right. When we get back, we'll hear a little bit more about our author, Donna, in her new book, Merging Lives. So stay tuned on One-on-One with Cira Burke.
Merging Lives is a thought-provoking powerhouse novel written by local author Donna Pagano. This novel is available locally at these listed locations and online at Amazon.com. Please visit the website at donnapagano.com for more information.
If you think it's hip to be in a gang, listen up. I got into a gang at the age of 13. At 21, I was in and out of prison for the next 17 years. I got shot 13 times. Now I'm 44, and I'm here to tell you, the drugs, the money, the sex, it's all there, waiting for you. First, you have to ask yourself, are you willing to give up half your life or more to be in a gang?
Next on One-on-One.
25% of our children and our families are living in poverty. 55.6% of the Virgin Islands children are led in single-family homes. Another alarming statistic, 73% of our Virgin Islands 7th graders can't read well. 12% of all our babies are born to teen moms.
The statistics are sobering, and our children are paying the price. Cira Burke examines the facts and figures from the latest survey from Kids Count on the next edition of One-on-One. The Virgin Islands Marine Academy is preparing our children for careers in the marine industry by offering a full curriculum of courses and certification in crew member sailing, safe motoring, sport and game fishing, PADI open water, lifeguard training, CPR, and first aid.
The U.S. Virgin Islands depends mostly on tourism, and like any other island that is considered a destination of choice, water is central to our survival. And these waters offer sport fishing, motoring, sailing, diving, and many other recreational activities that are second to none. All of this depends on well-trained, qualified individuals to help support the system known as the marine industry.
Should you choose to make a donation on behalf of the Virgin Islands Marine Academy, not only is it tax deductible, all monies received go directly to the support of the Academy.
We're back on One-on-One with Cira Burke, and with us today, Donna Pagano, the author of Merging Lives, and Lucy is here to talk a little bit